It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Cause that's the bottom line. The Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. Mwah. And good night. Bang! Settle!
Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Yes, sir.
Welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. You are listening and watching us here live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday. Welcome to another episode here of the only wrestling talk show here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome to Off the Mat. I am Josh Silverberg. With me at this time, of course, my tag team partner down in sunny Florida. I mean, now the report is, Alex, they're letting you go to restaurants now, Foley's. So that's exciting, even though there's still COVID. So good luck. Mr. Alex Lowe's, what's happening, man?
Nothing much. I'm very, very excited to get into all of the topics today. We got so much to do, so little time. Can't wait to discuss New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's been an amazing few weeks for the G1 Climax 30. We'll get into that later, as well as my special 2-minute interview with TNA Impact World Champion Eric Young.
Yes, very, very exciting, of course, and we'll do our AEW and our NXT recaps. And I have a bit of news in regards to the NXT recap I'll share during that time. And, of course, our finishing move. But really quick, we have to do our disclaimers. If you know by now, and I know I sound like a broken record, listen, download our app. It is a free app. You can download it, listen to us here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, okay? Not just Off the Mat, but there's so many good shows going on right now. We have some new shows that have been coming aboard. Of course, we also have Below the, Down to the Wire, Below the Mic, the Ryan Hickey Show. I actually will be making a guest appearance tomorrow night on Weapons Hot with CJ and Kevin. That's the New York Jets podcast show. I will be making an appearance tomorrow at 7:00 with the guys. So you don't want to miss that, being a sad Jet fan just like Kevin and CJ are. So all that, of course, we have here Off the Mat, the BS Sports Show, the Wise Guys, and of course we have some new shows that have come aboard recently. So you definitely want to check out everything that's going on. Download our app. It is free. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Store. If you have an Android, Google Play Store. You can tell your smart speakers to play the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. We are on all social network platforms. And, of course, check us out, worldwidesports.com. Also, you can get our show schedule and everything like that. So much more we have going on. So we're not just, obviously, a wrestling station. We do all sports from all around the world. And, again, like I said, I get to join CJ and Kevin tomorrow for Weapons Hot and New York Jets show for New York Jet fans. So I'll be there with them at 7:00 tomorrow night. So that's really a cool thing to do. And of course, Alex, let's talk about our stuff Off the Mat. Facebook page, Twitter page, and the phone number for the fans.
Twitter page is at Off the Mat WWSRN. Same for Twitter. And our phone number is 727-888-4295. The phone number, again, is 727-888-4295. Feel free to call in, give your thoughts on our topics and discussions during the show.
It's right there below the screen. I have my phone up while watching it because in case you can also comment as well. You can make comments on Facebook, on Twitter, and everything like that about what's going on. Alex, of course, doing his Jon Moxley shirt. That's Alex's favorite shirt, man. He sleeps in that thing. He walks around in that thing. He does not. I'm just kidding, but he loves that shirt. Me, on the other hand, I went with my I think, Alex, what did I say? I have 62 shirts in my collection. I believe I said. My wife is disturbed by that. She's distraught by the whole thing. But I have my G1 Supercard shirts that I got from the event at Madison Square Garden. I went a little classic today. I did.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk, Funk You for hardcore students only. So I went with that today. I figured people who are classics know all about that and talking about legends. And I know we don't usually like to start the show off on a very somber note, but we do have to talk about it. We have to acknowledge it. And to everybody of the excuse me, to the Laurinaitis family, friends of the famous road warrior Joseph Michael Laurinaitis, we do send our condolences out there here from Off the Mat and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. If you didn't get the news a couple of days ago, Laurinaitis, of course, a lot of you know him as Road Warrior Animal from LOD, from the Road Warriors, passed away from natural causes at just the age of 60, which is so young. And Alex, when you think of, Hawk and Animal, I mean, they're both now gone. It's insane. When you think of the Road Warriors, you think instantly of tag team wrestling.
Oh, yeah. The Hart Foundation, tag team matches against them, matches against Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. It's insane to see all these. It's insane to think about these two tag team legends that are now gone.
Yes, I mean, they started way back in the early 80s. I mean, they were over in the Japanese territories and the American territories. They were in Jim Crockett Promotions. They went to WWE,
WCW, NWA, AWA, and they were in Pro Wrestling Illustrated's magazine for Best Tag Team of the Year from 1983 to 1985 and in 1988. Which
is not a surprise at all. And, of course, if you haven't checked out the Dark Side of the Ring episode, of course, the last ride of the Road Warriors, you need to check that out. It was an unbelievable episode about kind of the makeup and then the breakup of the Road Warriors with Hawk and Animal, because Hawk had a lot of issues before his passing. And, like I said, when you think of the excuse me, I think of the face paint, the shoulder pads with the spikes on them, the motorcycles, and of course Paul Ellerling, who was the manager, of course, for LOD, the Road Warriors, pretty much all throughout their career. I know Sonny was the manager later on during the Attitude Era when it was LOD 2000, but it wasn't really the same. And like I said, they had their rivalries with so many great tag teams. I mean, Alex, like we were talking about, and they were the epitome. I mean, they were, like I said, I believe both. I don't want to get my information wrong. So, I mean, when everybody thinks of the Road Warriors, it's interesting. They think of
top-notch tag team wrestling.
Yeah, you think instantly of tag team wrestling. One of the best in the world to ever lace up a pair of boots. But their character was so different than what it was in the, they weren't the normal characters of the 80s and early 90s with the face paint, with the spikes. They had a little bit of a rivalry with Demolition because remember people were saying, oh, Demolition's a knockoff of LOD, and then they had the rivalry with that. So when you look back at that whole thing, go back and watch, and of course their famous finishing move, the Doomsday Device, of course, when they would, it was usually Animal would put the opponent on the shoulders, Hawk would come off the turnbuckle and do the clothesline. Like I said, if you haven't gotten a chance to go watch their rivalry, of course, with Money Inc., go watch their rivalry with the Hart Foundation, with Demolition. I have to see if they had a rivalry with the British Bulldogs. I'm not sure, but I mean, like instantly, like I said, being in WCW as well, they were always They were always in tag teams together. It was more Animal or so. But then, of course, their breakup happened. Hawk wound up going to Japan, and it was just the whole thing. And then when Hawk passed, Animal went into a singles run. Of course, remember, he won the tag team championships with Heidenreich during the Ruthless Aggression era. I don't really want to get into that whole
And
thing.
you had a lot of legends, a lot of wrestling legends coming out on Twitter, like Ric Flair. He said, "I am more saddened to hear of the loss of my good friend and great opponent Joe Laurinaitis of the legendary Road Warriors. They were iconic. The Road Warriors and the Four Horsemen drew more money and had more fun and entertained fans worldwide at the highest level. Rest in power."
Yes, absolutely. And again, we want to send our sincerest thoughts and prayers and condolences out to the Laurinaitis family and friends and loved ones of Joe Laurinaitis, better known as Road Warrior Animal. So, thank you so much for the memories. We appreciate everything he did for tag team wrestling and for wrestling in itself. All right, Alex, let's get into it. What our next topic is going to be one of your favorite topics, Alex, and that's recapping
AEW Dynamite, which it was an okay show. I feel like there were some parts missing to it. I felt it just felt kind of off for me this week. But
oh no way!
It just didn't connect with me a little bit today.
I'm about to argue with you, so tell me why it was off this week, Alex.
I just without having the 6-man tag, which I know they're building it up to a next couple weeks, but without this, their plan was to have the 6-man tag that night.
Out.
But Archer is out sick, so
COVID. So they had to kind of regroup and fast pace kind of how they were going to do that, because I was confused too at first. But go on, continue, and I'll rebuttal you afterwards, and I'll tell you why I thought it was a great episode. I
just feel like the 6-man tag, if they had that match then for AEW Dynamite this week, it would have pulled a lot more attention.
I didn't mind Eddie Kingston getting the championship opportunity.
I thought that was cool to see Kingston get a shot at the AEW World Title, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But I want to talk about Miro and Kip Sabian and their match against Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss.
One match I didn't like very much.
Yeah, I feel like that match could have had a lot more. It should have had a lot more build up.
No, forget the build up. I hate Miro on the tag team. Because I'm not interested in seeing Kip Sabian. I have no interest in seeing him. No disrespect to Kip and all of them, but I don't think we got enough Miro.
No, I feel like Miro is better off being a singles competitor than a tag team. A tag team.
Yes. I enjoyed the Evil Uno, Hangman Adam Page match, but the thing I loved, and I was having a conversation with one of my old co-hosts, Lyle, on another show we used to on Takedown Breakdown, which we used to do, but we having a discussion, and Cody coming out with the black hair, and it's interesting when I saw that. So it's kind of like they're doing the build-up as Cody being a heel, which is cool. I think it's great. I think that's
definitely. I think that's definitely how it should be.
No, I think so too. At the same time, I'm gonna believe he's a heel when he starts attacking Dustin and QT and Matt Cardona and Scorpios and those guys. I don't think he's a heel as much per se right now, as he's more goth. If you know what I mean, like he's more of a goth.
He's coming out with the black gear, wearing the black gear, and
that stupid neck tattoo, man. I like the tattoo. I hate the location of it though. It drove me nuts. I'm staring like it was so awesome to see him with the black hair, Alex. But the tattoo is in like the worst freaking spot, and I'm like, it's just so annoying with that. But I love the way they did it with him coming out like that. And I think it's going to form him into becoming more of a heel.
I definitely agree. I could see Cody possibly going on his own or joining or linking up with a faction.
Link up with a faction.
Yeah, I could see him linking up with a faction, but I want to see Cody take on Brody Lee one more time for the TNT title down the road.
Sure. I think that'd be a great idea. I think that would be an idea that I think they do wind up going for sure. And I think I'm trying to think, what is their next pay-per-view?
I don't think they have a next pay-per-view. It's the anniversary show. They're doing an anniversary show.
Dynamite, but like what pay-per-view is coming? Is it Full Gear? Is it Revolution? I don't know. I'm just gonna look it up really quick.
But after that, we had Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida take on Ivelisse and Diamante. Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida, their match was amazing. I loved seeing. I love how they worked together, how they formed their styles together as a team, and it was cool to see those different styles collide. Thunder Rosa and Shida are definitely awesome performers who know how to work things in and make these matches interesting, and they definitely showed that on this week's AEW Dynamite.
I'm sorry, the next pay-per-view is Full Gear, November 7th.
November 7th is Full Gear.
November 7th is Full Gear. That's their next pay-per-view, which I'm sure you're going to start to see some. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm really quick. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. It's kind of interesting. But the Full Gear poster, there's not a single person from the Elite in the group that's on the poster. Miro, Matt Hardy, Archer, Brody Lee, FTR, Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage, and what's her name from the Dark Order? What's her name again?
I'm trying. Anna Jay.
Anna Jay. Thank you. Those are the ones that are on the poster. So that's interesting. That's kind of cool.
But back to the Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida's match. It was unbelievable tag team work. I do think Ivelisse and Diamante showed great tag team work in the matchup, but I think they need more development. I want to see them wrestle more often in these tag team matches because the way that match turned out was amazing, and both competitors did a great job. Both teams did an amazing job.
Yes, for sure. And of course, they did the thing with the Young Bucks for Tony, who did the interview this week with the Young Bucks as well. I think it was Tony Schiavone did the Young Bucks interview this week, where Matt broke his phone and everything like that. And if you also notice, again, I bring up BTE because it's important being the Elite. Those episodes have gotten way shorter because if you notice, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and those guys aren't really on the show that much anymore because they're coming off as the heels. So they're not really going to be doing any more face stuff on the show anymore, really, when you think about it. So, I mean, I just found it as an interesting thing that I saw.
And then we had Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston AEW World Title match. Match was okay. I feel like it didn't feature enough brawling and moves to grab major audience attention. This match needed more fuel to the fire, and it could have been more with Mox confronting Kingston during his promo when Eddie Kingston was out there on the mic. And he delivered very well on the mic. He's great at what he does, and he got a good reaction from the fans. Kingston definitely knows how to draw and pull people in very well, and he did just that with that promo.
He does. He's one of the best mic talkers in the business, in my opinion. I think he's somebody that, you know, when you look at somebody like an Eddie Kingston and you say to yourself, okay, what can we do with him? Well, you just have him talking to Mike. You don't want him to lose a lot because that lose steam. But I like where they're going with this thing. Like I said, they had to do something quick because of the Archer situation, which really sucked. But I think the good thing is, thank goodness it was the tag team match that got canceled and not the heavyweight championship match on the anniversary show. Because then that would have sucked because remember that happened with Brian Cage and Moxley, where Renee Young had COVID and Mox had to sit out and the match had to get delayed. So be thankful that I know you wanted to see that tag team match, Alex. I get it. Trust me. It sucks we didn't get to see it. Be thankful that it was that match that got canceled and not the heavyweight championship match that got canceled.
I agree with you. I think it's better to have the 6-man canceled and not the AEW World Championship match canceled because they've built it up for the past couple of weeks with Archer and his manager Jake the Snake in the back doing their thing and really going to work on the mic against Moxley. And I think once this match happens, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Archer does in his performance, because the last time we saw Moxley and Archer face each other was at Wrestle Kingdom. So this is going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And going back, I didn't really get to give it an input. I know we got like 2 more minutes before we go to our next segment, which is NXT. But going back to the women's match, I like what they're doing with it. It sounds like they're going to do Hikaru Shida versus Thunder Rosa 2. But it sounds like this time it's going to be for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. I mean, or they could do a both belts on the line kind of thing. I'm wondering, I really want Thunder Rosa to stay here full time. I really want her to work combined with both companies. I think that would be the ideal thing. I think if you have her work with both brands, NWA and AEW, that would be perfect. And of course, we didn't even mention the FTR situation where they were going to do the FTR's coming off as great heels now. They were going to do the match. They were going to do a match with Best Friends. They said, nah, we don't want to do that. And now they're going to face SCU next week, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. So their heelish gimmick is really fitting in well. That's naturally how they are. When they came in as faces at first, I said, it's awesome they're here. But I'm like, they don't fit the face gimmick.
No.
They just don't. They don't come off that way.
No, they definitely don't.
That way. So, excuse me. I liked it. I thought it was what I liked about it, like I said, I love what they're doing with FTR. I really want to see them fight the Young Bucks. Especially now that both teams are going to be heels. And it kind of sounds like whenever one group is mentioned to the other group, they don't like to talk about it. Because, again, I think they're saving it. But what I think they're going to do is I think they're going to save that match, Alex, for when there's a crowd.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move to wait until there's an audience. Because
they have an audience now, but I mean like a full...
Yeah, I mean like a full, packed, jammed audience. Once they have that, I feel like AEW is going to be able to feed off from the crowd more and really put energy into these matches.
Absolutely, for sure. All right, Alex, we have our next topic we're going to get to before we go to break in a couple of minutes, and that is our NXT recap. And, well, first off, we did have breaking news. It does sound like, I don't want to confirm this, so don't quote me on here, but I read somewhere that Tegan Nox could have torn her ACL again. Hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully she did not do it. Hopefully she's okay because she had so much momentum. So we're wishing her thoughts and prayers with, of course, Tegan Nox and the amount of growth she has gone, which explains why she was not in that Women's Battle Royal match. That would explain why she was not in it, because I was confused as to why. But it's interesting. They did the gauntlet match, and they had Kyle O'Reilly coming out on top as winning the match. And I got to tell you, and Alex, I have to say this because I had a thought in my head really quick, and I want to get your thoughts on this whole situation. Now, just think about it for a second, all right? Hear me out. Say, for example, excuse me, so Kyle O'Reilly is going to be facing Finn Balor at TakeOver 31, right? October 4th. What if, okay, he either A, he wins the match, I don't know if he will, or B, he puts out an unbelievable performance, and everybody in Undisputed Era comes out, they celebrate with him. What a great job you did, Kyle. You did great.
And then...
And Adam Cole is the Triple H. Kyle O'Reilly is the Randy Orton. with Evolution.
Yep.
Adam Cole basically does the thumbs down to Kyle O'Reilly, and Undisputed Era turns on KO. What are your thoughts on that? Because I put that together, and if you saw my tweet Wednesday night, I thought of that in my head, and I went, there's a lot of Triple H, Randy Orton in this KO, Adam Cole kind of thing because of the way O'Reilly's been acting the last few weeks.
I would not be surprised if that goes down at TakeOver.
Is that
I like the idea. I definitely could see that unfolding. There's a possibility that could happen. But going back to the match, the gauntlet match, it was very well done. We saw Cameron Grimes, Bronson Reed, Kushida, and then Kyle O'Reilly. Oh, and wait, I left out Timothy Thatcher there. Yeah. But that match was amazing. And my favorite part of the match was actually not my favorite part of the match, but going with this match, I saw that Bronson Reed was going for the tsunami splash, and he missed. Like he landed on the canvas, and that ultimately cost him the matchup because Timothy Thatcher. Was it Timothy Thatcher that got him out, or was it? I'm trying to remember who it was.
No, I think KO was the one that pinned. No, KO was not the one. I think it was Thatcher that got him out.
Yeah, so Thatcher ultimately Thatcher was able to eliminate him from the matchup. So I think with Bronson Reed, he's a great athlete. He's a great individual in the ring. He knows his surroundings and he knows what to do in matchups. But I feel like that was too much. That was too risky. I did not think he should have went for that jump there. I felt like he could have stayed to the ground and kept using ground tactics and going to the outside floor, because then he would have been able to try and isolate all four of these men and eliminate one of them.
Thoughts on Candice LeRae winning the Battle Royal? Yay or nay?
I like the idea, so I'm going to say yay. I like how she's number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. I did want to see Shotzi Blackheart win the Battle Royale, but that's okay. I think that will happen later on. So I'm okay with Candice LeRae winning this and going to face Io Shirai, because whoever wins that match at TakeOver, I feel like Shotzi will be the next one in line.
Oh, I think Io's going to win the match anyway. She's going to hold the belt for a while, I think. I think that's what their plan is. I mean, I'm not the biggest Candice LeRae fan, so I'm going to say nay. I didn't to me, her personality is just not there for me. I don't know. Not a fan of it, really. And then, of course, now they announced the match, Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano.
Actually, I was going to mention this real quick. I want to get your thoughts on this, Josh, because I saw some Florida wrestling stars in the match. We had Brandy Lauren, who wrestles for ACW and a couple other promotions in Florida. And then we saw Dream Girl Ellie. She was the one in the yellow, blue, and red gear that got thrown over. But I want to. What were your thoughts on seeing like Florida stars being new faces being put into these matchups?
I think it's giving them a platform. I think because I think so many brands are not really running fully yet, that I think just like what AEW was doing with Dark, I think NXT is going to try to do as a platform for these wrestlers to give them somewhere to go and to help them execute their training and give them an opportunity to show these companies that, hey, we're special too, not just the ones you're hiring and signing. So I didn't mind it. I liked it. It adds more bodies to a locker room that I think is needed at times. So I didn't mind it at all. I liked it. I liked the idea. Like I said, it's tough to be in the independent business right now because there's not many brands that are running. I know. You work for.
I do promos for ACW, American Combat Wrestling.
And they're back, right? I saw your promo the other day.
Yeah, they're back up. They've been back up for like a week or two now. And
yeah.
I just so happened to be able to go out to the show on Tuesday because I'm not working then.
That's great. So you got to do that, so that's awesome. And then, like I said, Gargano Priest, that was announced, so we'll see how that goes. And then you had the tag team match.
Roderick Strong and Danny Burch against Raul Mendoza and Who's the other guy?
Eichner.
Fabian Eichner.
And it was each member of a tag team, and of course the winner of that match, the tag teams got to face each other for the chance to face Breezango. Roderick Strong and Danny Burch won. So I thought it was an interesting concept that they did that at first. I thought it was kind of wonky, but I mean, look, the tag team division for NXT right now is so bland that it's just like trying anything at this point. I mean, so
I think what they need to do with putting in these new faces from different companies, I think they need to form more tag teams. And
of course they do.
And they definitely need to include more tag teams, build these tag teams up, make them look good, make them look strong, and then have them face each other in a tournament for the NXT tag team titles.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think a tournament is needed. I think new tag teams need to be formed, and they got to start getting creative with this because NXT is so bland right now. And like I said, if AEW could get Thunder Rosa here to sign, then they're solves their women's division, whereas NXT is trying to solve their tag team division, which was once a huge standout point for NXT. All right, Alex, when we come back, we have so much more to get to. We're gonna get right into your interview with Eric Young. We're gonna recap right now the standings for the G1 Climax, and we are going to preview the Clash of Champions, which is tomorrow night for WWE, and of course our finishing move. So don't miss it. We are off the mat here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price.
Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
The question is for Eric Young. The last time you held the Impact World Heavyweight title was in April of 2014. What will be different from your past title reign versus now?
I mean, I mentioned it a bit before, but I was wrestling not for myself. That was a very different version of me. That was a different attitude, a different personality, a different way of thinking. I clearly don't have that type of mindset anymore. I'm worried about me and me alone. And it's something that took me a long time to learn in wrestling, in this business, in this sport, is no one's going to look out for you. You're completely on your own. Nobody cares about you except for you. So every decision, everything that I'm doing, every move, every bit of my being is poured into protecting myself, protecting what I hold dear. And at Bound for Glory, I have one goal, and that's to leave with my world title. It's like I said, it's something I take deadly serious, very, very serious. And in no way am I thinking that riches is something that will just be pushed aside. He's in this position because he's earned it. But the reality is I'm on a different level. I'm willing to do things that I know Rich is not willing to do. I'm willing to go places that Rich is not willing to. I'm willing to do things that an average person isn't willing to do. I'm willing to do things that people can't even think of. They don't have the ability because they don't have a shared experience like me. So it's a much different time in my life, a much different time in my professional career. And the focus is tenfold. And I think it's shown in my actions and is shown in my words.
Well, thank you, Alex.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening, that was my interview with Eric Young, and it was amazing. His response was right on cue. I loved listening to what he had to say about how he has this is a different version of himself from back then. He's more experienced now. He's more dangerous. He's more in line with himself. And I have a feeling this match at Bound for Glory is going to be very, very physical. It's going to be not just a fight, not just a battle, but it's going to be a war.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you know me, Alex. I'm an Impact Wrestling fan, so I'm always watching Impact on TV with access. Um, we'll preview more Bound for Glory down the road because we still have about a month away from it. Because I know the 2 matches have been announced, where Eric Young will fight Rich Swann for the Impact Championship.
Actually, I think
versus-
they're facing. I think the pay-per-view's today. Bound for Glory.
No, it's not today.
Let me see. Let me Google it. Bound for Blue.
Alex, why would they make a pay-per-view today if there's only 2 matches?
It's Saturday, October 24th. There we go. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
Never wrong. I'm never wrong. You know, I'm never wrong, Alex. Just kidding. I always am wrong. But listen, kudos to you. You did a great job. You did an amazing job. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there for that interview. But you did great. You made the show proud. You did it and made the network proud. And gotta thank Jillian Cohen for that one. Jillian,
definitely. Jillian is like all over the place. She's right on. She's spot on of everything, and she's doing an amazing job.
She did a great job getting that interview for us, and all that. And hopefully down the road, maybe I could be a part of some of these because being an Impact fan, it would be awesome and everything like that. So definitely a good job, Alex, for sure. You did great. I thought Eric Young answered the question. That was about as good of an answer as you could have because usually sometimes they'll give you 1 or 2 word answers. No, he gave you a full-blown – I don't know. Was Rich Swann in the group?
Yeah, he was in the live. His stream wasn't working, so he was out for a couple minutes because they were having technical difficulties of him on his side.
All right. Well, listen, Alex, you did a great job. Jillian, thank you as well, and thank you to Impact Wrestling for the lovely sound bites and everything like that. All right, man. Let's get into it. Let's get it updated with the G1 30. It's 30, right, Alex?
G1 Climax 30. Yeah, okay. Definitely an amazing pay-per-view so far.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I have the standings whenever you're ready, Alex, so I'll update it for you. Let's get to the A block. Jay White. So far, he's in first place with 2 wins, 2-0. Tai Chi. How about Tai Chi, huh?
Tai Chi, he's doing very, very well. Yeah.
Will Ospreay as well. He's in third. So you got a 3-way tie between Jay White, Tai Chi, and Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is indeed Alex's pick to win the whole thing. And obviously, you have Will Ospreay coming out of the A block. I believe I had
you had Kenta.
I had Kenta winning, but I'm trying to remember who I had coming out of the A block. I think it might have been Ibushi. I might have said Ibushi.
Yeah, I think you said Ibushi. Yeah, I definitely.
And then tied for second, you got Jeff Cobb, Kota Ibushi, Minoru Suzuki, and Kazuchika Okada, each with 2 points, both all 1-1. So there you go. It's a bunched up group right now. And then, of course, still plenty of time. Tomohiro Ishii, Shingo Takagi. It's at a tough time losing match.
Yeah. He's not off to a good start so far. And
no,
last year was a better start for him. This year it's kind of been rocky, but I think he'll have a chance to come back and score a few points.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who he's lost to so far. I think he's lost to Jay White, and I think he's lost to Jeff Cobb so far. So I believe those are the 2 that he's lost to. Look, I think Yujiro is I think he's just a guy that's not going to really win anything. He's just there. No disrespect to Yujiro, but I have no expectations with him. And then in the B block, if you haven't gotten a chance, so my really quick, Alex, quick story. We're going out last night, my wife and I had to show her. I said, listen, I know you're not a wrestling fan, blah, blah, blah. I say, can you check this out? Can you check this interview out? Sure, it was Juice Robinson after he won his match against Kenta. And he said one of the funniest things, he was talking about a short, which we all know what a short is. Yeah, because he said Kenta kicked the crap out of him, so he thinks he sharded. And then the best thing he said was after he went, poopsie daisy. Which is a new one. And my wife thought that was hysterical. So Juice Robinson, man, kudos to you for one of my new favorite words, poopsie daisy. My wife goes, no, it's oopsie daisy. No, I said, no, he made the word poopsie daisy because it was oops and he pooped. So, no, he didn't really poop, obviously. But,
No.
but so far in the B block, you got Juice Robinson, Toru Yano, who I know.
Yano,
Alex,
I'm
you wanna
surprised
discuss that?
Yano won that match against Tanahashi because Tanahashi tried to use the wrist tape on him, taped his eyes shut, threw him back in the ring, thought he could roll him up for a pin, but instead he got rolled up by Yano, and Yano won that match, and that blew my mind. That was crazy.
And then Tetsuya Naito, so they're tied for first. Zack Sabre Jr. after beating Evil in his first match, losing to Tetsuya Naito. Kenta, my pick, losing to Juice Robinson. I want to get into Kenta in a second, Alex, after
But speaking of Tetsuya Naito, I have the PWI Sports Illustrated magazine in front of me right now. And Tetsuya Naito is in the PWI 500 at 102, which is very, very good.
I would hope that he would be in there. He better be in there. I think it should be higher personally, but that's okay. Kenta, Hiroki Goto, and Evil all tied with 2 points. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yoshihashi, and Sanada with no points. So that is your update. Alex, I'm trying to remember who you said was going to win the B block.
I have the names in front of me.
I think you said Evil.
Yeah, I said Evil was going to win. And so far, he has 2 points, right? 2?
Yeah, he has 2 points, and I had Kenta winning. Now, I want to get into if you don't mind, I'm going to get into the Kenta thing quick. If you haven't gotten a chance, I retweeted it on my Twitter at Josh Silverberg on Twitter. And if you haven't gotten a chance, check it out. It's pretty much Kenta talking about how he fought in NXT. Juice Robinson was also in NXT, and he basically called WWE a piece of crap company, in his own words, that they didn't bring out the best in us, and look where we are now. And he was so honored to wrestle Juice in Japan, and he hopes that their paths come across one day. So definitely you want to check that out. But so far, the G1 Climax has been phenomenal. I've watched it. I know you've watched it, Alex. It's been great. It's been so much fun. I don't know. I think more matches happened this morning. I have to check. I'm going to check.
I believe so. I have. Let me see, because you got it in front of you. Okay.
Yeah, I got it, Alex. I'll go look. But if you want to give your thoughts, pretty much on what your thoughts on the G1 have been so far and what you've liked about it.
Yeah, the G1 to me, what I like about it so far is when we talked last week, I said Ospreay was going to score as many points as possible, and look how strong he's come into this G1. He's at 4 points right now in the A block.
Those new nerd jackets are so cool that New Japan is selling. Those things are cool. Oh my god, I want one so bad, but there's so much money.
It's so cool to see Ospreay come back strongly because he wasn't having a great year. Partially, he wasn't really. There was just a lot going on for him, and to see him come back and get a good ovation from the New Japan fans is amazing.
No, tomorrow matches happen tomorrow, and tomorrow they go back up and running. So not today. So we just gave you the most updated standings. So definitely check out the G1 Climax. It's phenomenal on New Japan Pro Wrestling World. It's awesome. You want it. It's a can't miss. All right, Alex, let's do a quick preview. We're going to just pick a couple of matches that we think are the best ones to preview for Clash of Champions tomorrow. And the first match, we're going to get right into it, man, because I got to tell you, I have to tell you, I don't like to give them credit, but I'm going to give them credit where it's due. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, the build-up for it has been awesome.
Oh, yeah. We saw them in a tag team match against Baron Corbin, Sheamus, and then Cesaro. And this, you saw at the end of the match, Jey Uso went to celebrate with Roman Reigns, raised his hand, and then they walked up the apron and raised his hand up on the apron. And then you see Roman Reigns pull his hand away with the title and then just look directly into Jey Uso's eyes. Saying,
Go back to last night. Last night I got to watch SmackDown last night, and the promo between both Jey and Roman was awesome. Roman as a heel has been a great idea. It's worked. It fits him like a glove. It really does. And the other thing you take into account is the whole where Alexa Bliss is staring daggers at Roman because, of course, she's brainwashed by the Fiend. She's pretty much Harley Quinn to the Fiend being the Joker. That's essentially what they're doing. And, you look at I'm excited for this. They build up the family history. They interviewed Rikishi. They've interviewed Alpha and Sika, who's Roman Reigns' dad.
And Alpha runs a promotion down here in Florida, WXW.
And Rikishi, who's Jey Uso's dad. And, of course, that's Jay's, I believe. Roman and Jay are cousins. I think Sika is Jay's uncle. Not uncle. I think great uncle, I believe it is. I'm not. I gotta figure that out. I don't know with the bloodlines, but I think Roman's gonna win tomorrow. But I'm excited for this match.
I definitely like what they're doing of Roman Reigns, and I read yesterday that they're gonna get rid of the chest gear, all of that, and he's just gonna go shirtless without that, and he's. I know. They're just going with they're changing his They're changing everything up. They should. They definitely should because it's working. It's working for him.
Yeah, I heard new music. I heard new gear. I love it. And I think that's the way it should go. And I like how Heyman is nothing doing with Brock like he's doing with Roman, where he's silent with Roman. He had to talk for Brock. I like it. I like that Roman's doing his own promos now as a heel, where it's not feeling like it's kind of being forced down our throats. And I think when he Superman punched Jay at the end, Jay was knocked out, and he basically told Jay, "You'll never be at the head of the table." I love it. I thought it was great. So I'm excited for that match tomorrow. Really quick, we have about time for maybe 2 more matches to preview, so let's do it. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, number 2 in an ambulance match for the WWE Championship. Look, I think Drew's going to win it. I think Drew's in this for the long haul. We'll see. It wouldn't surprise me if Randy won it, but I think Drew's going to come on top. I think Drew is meant to have this title for a long time, and I think Drew should at least hold the championship when there's a full audience.
I agree. I think they need to have him run with the WWE Championship longer. Wait till there's larger crowds in a larger venue, and just see how it comes off. What reaction he gets from the fans when he comes out with the WWE title and defends it on Raw or at a big pay-per-view. So I definitely see Drew McIntyre holding on to that title for a while.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we'll do one more match before we get to our finishing move. In a triple threat ladder match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, you have Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. This is a dream match that they are going to find a way to screw it up, WWE, because this is what they do best.
Yep.
I'm going to say I think AJ or Sami should win it. I don't think Hardy needs the belt. That's just my opinion on it.
No.
But Hardy's going to be the one that wins it. Alex, who do you think?
I would say I'm going to agree with you, AJ Styles. And I need to mention this because I really don't like what WWE's been doing with the Intercontinental Championship. Instead of one IC title, they have 2 IC title belts. And they're copying basically when CM Punk had a WWE title and John Cena had a WWE title. So I just think you can't keep doing that. You can't keep going back to past things. You need to change it up. You need to come up with new ideas creatively, or else you're not going to get that draw. And that's why Monday Night Raw and SmackDown have not done so well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, I mean, I know you. So you say AJ Styles is going to win, right?
Yeah, I feel like AJ Styles is going to walk away with it.
I said Jeff Hardy. I think Jeff Hardy is going to be the one that takes it. So we'll see for sure. We actually have time. We could do one more match, Alex. We could do one more here. Let's pick. Let me see. Let's do. Trying to think which one I want to do.
We do have.
I mean, we could do. They're doing both tag team championships, which is very rare. But again, every championship is being defended at the
pay-per-view. Yeah, at Clash of Champions.
All right, so I guess we could do Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews, and I swear if I see Redemption or Retribution one more time, I'm going to snap. It's the stupidest gimmick. I know.
I agree. It's so dumb.
Dominic Dijakovic,
so stupid.
Dominic Dijakovic has been arguing with people not left and right on Twitter, and I understand he's trying to fight for himself and his character. but he looks like a Bane character from Batman. I
And
mean,
then
it's just-
I hear Mia Yim is changing her name. And
yeah, he did.
I forget what she was changing it to.
This too, but I mean, I could see them getting involved, but I think Bobby Lashley retains the U.S. Championship, so we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like Bobby Lashley will retain the United States title. Apollo Crews, he just doesn't get enough screen time or he doesn't get enough screen time for promos, and it hasn't really helped him a lot with being on Monday Night Raw and going up against Lashley. I feel like this match would have a better build up if Apollo Crews had more opportunities to get himself out there on the mic and really show everybody that he can. This is what he's born to do. This is what he trained for coming up from NXT years ago. And it's just really sad to see WWE underutilizing him.
For sure, absolutely. All right, so that's Clash of Champions. That's tomorrow night. I believe it starts at let's see. I think it's 7:00 on the WWE Network. Yes, it does. Tomorrow night. The Clash Champions, the Gold Rush, every championship is going to be defended tomorrow. So that's why you're seeing all these different matches. So we'll see how WWE does with that. And we'll recap it next week, of course, what our thoughts are. I don't have expectations. I doubt Alex does as well. So we'll see. All right, Alex, let's get to our finishing move, man. What do you got?
So earlier I mentioned the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. So I work at Publix, so I was able to get this magazine. It's really cool. They got Jon Moxley on the cover, being number one in the PWI 500, and it's got a lot of material in it. There's an interview with one of the PWI editors for the magazine who sat down. Huh?
Is it all time wrestlers, or is it just what's in today?
It's just what's in today, and there's a hot seat page, an exclusive interview with one of the sport's top stars, and one of the editors for this magazine got to sit down with Jon Moxley, and there's a whole interview on it, and it's really good. There's a whole interview of him, and they talk about how he got into the PWI 500 and how much everything has changed and got better for him since he left WWE and came up in to AEW, and just has been having an amazing career and just running with the AEW title. And they also talk about what he misses from WWE, like a little bit of something from when he was in the Shield with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and he talks about how they came up together and they stuck together. A lot of people didn't like them at the time when they came up, but they changed the business and they made it for the better.
Yeah. Listen, I was at their first ever WrestleMania match when they fought Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus, and they won. I try to forget that WrestleMania because that WrestleMania absolutely sucked. WrestleMania 29 was crap. But yeah, that was a highlight of that show that didn't really have many highlights, a lot of lowlights. But my finishing move is Retribution needs to please enough. No, I mean, people didn't have to. What's the word?
Shove it down our throats?
No, forget shoving it down our throats. They didn't have to change some of these characters. Like, and I understand where Dominik Dijakovic is coming from. He's trying to stick up for his character. That's the character he is. He's having a Twitter war right now with Chris Jericho. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if it works. I feel like
changing all their names was not the best idea. I feel like the whole Retribution thing wasn't a good idea. They could have just
Alex T-Bar. His name is T-Bar. Mace. And I don't know what the other ones are. I don't even know.
I don't know why they're doing that, but I feel like they should have just stuck with their NXT names and their NXT gimmicks.
But I'm just so confused. Why would you want to hire and pay somebody who's been destroying your company?
I have no idea. I don't know.
All right, Alex, you work at Publix. Somebody goes in there, destroys the shelves. Are you hiring them?
No,
That makes sense.
it doesn't. It really doesn't make sense at all.
They're destroying the company. So we're gonna hire them because they're annoying to deal with. So we're just gonna hire. All right, crap. Move on. Next. They're like, wait, it's crap. It's garbage. Garbage. Goodbye. See you later. I'm not even kidding. Honestly, I'm trying to think of the next name of the new member that's going to be in the group.
I feel like it was Mia Yim. I'm just trying to remember what the name was. I can't think of it at the moment. Yeah, I know they're changing Mercedes Martinez's name too.
Oh, stop it. They're changing all their names. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our show here on Off the Mat. Listen, before we go, please download our app. It is free. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Store. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store. Just type in Worldwide Sports. Free app. It gives you our shows, our schedules, our playbacks. If you miss our shows, clips, different articles and stuff we have written. Our show schedule as well, like I said, it's got us here on Off the Map, but it's got Below the Mic, Down to the Wire, The Ryan Hickey Show, Cajun MMA, The Wise Guys. And, of course, I'm going to be a guest tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on Weapons Hot, a New York Jets show with CJ and Kevin. So I will be a guest host on the show with them tomorrow about the New York Jets. And we have new shows that have just joined. And we have a fantasy football show that just joined this week. So there's just the BS Sports Show. There's just so much happening here at the network. If you have a smart speaker, have them play us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. We're all over the place. Of course, worldwidesports.com. And don't forget the Weekend Crunch with Errol Marks and former NFL player Eric Coleman.
Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Off the Mat WWSRN, and same for Facebook.
Yes, and also, like I said, we want to hear from you. We want to see your comments. We hope you're loving the show. Tune in every week, every Saturday at 12 o'clock. Alex, man, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy that Pro Wrestling Magazine. And we'll talk to all of you next week. Take care. And that's it for us. This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Take care, everyone.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.